What if I told you the words we use online are quietly shaping how we see ourselves and each other? From Sigma male to black pill, incel language is no longer confined to dark forums. It's everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. But what does this say about us as a culture? And what would Carl Jung, or even Machiavelli, think of it? Today, we dive deep into the shadowy language of power, identity, and manipulation to reveal how modern memes may hide ancient psychological truths. Incel language is mainstream now. Let's start with a basic truth. Words are never just words. They're maps of meaning, symbols loaded with history, fear, and desire. The rise of incel language, terms like black pill, chad, femoid, sigma male, tells a story far deeper than edgy memes. These words reflect a growing emotional disconnection, a frustration, a search for identity in a world driven by comparison, rejection, and algorithmic echo chambers. Platforms like TikTok and YouTube have become echo chambers where identity isn't just expressed, it's marketed. The Sigma male trend, for instance, repackages loneliness as strength. The black pill ideology takes despair and turns it into destiny. These aren't just memes. They're narratives, seductive ones that offer meaning in a chaotic digital world. But what makes this dangerous is how these terms bypass reflection. They label rather than explain. They give simple answers to complex pain. And when repeated enough, they start to shape behavior. So the real question becomes, why are so many people, especially young men, drawn to this language? And what does it reveal about their inner world? Psychological analysis, Carl Jung's shadow. Carl Jung might say that what we're witnessing is the shadow of the collective psyche. The shadow is everything we reject, repress, or refuse to face within ourselves. Incel culture and its vocabulary often act as a mirror for this shadow. Feelings of inferiority, fear of rejection, suppressed rage, and unmet needs for connection. But instead of confronting these feelings, the language gives them a mask, a way to avoid accountability by blaming chads, femoids, or the matrix. This is the opposite of individuation, the Jungian process of becoming whole by integrating your darkness. Instead, it fragments the self. It splits the psyche into labels and archetypes, and turns healing into war. The irony? By avoiding the discomfort of self-reflection, many users fall deeper into a persona that isn't truly theirs. Jung warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. When someone says, "I've been black-pilled," what they often mean is, "I've stopped believing I have power. I've projected my pain onto the world instead of exploring it within." But the language makes it sound noble, inevitable, almost heroic. And that's exactly what makes it so insidious. Philosophical analysis, Machiavelli's take. Now let's imagine how Niccolò Machiavelli would view all this. Machiavelli was obsessed with power, not just brute force, but perception. He'd likely admire how incel language reframes powerlessness as power. The Sigma male, quiet, stoic, independent, is the perfect illusion. It hides social rejection beneath a mask of superiority. It weaponizes detachment. Just as Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But here's the catch. Machiavelli also warned of self-deception. A prince who believes his own lies becomes blind to real threats. Likewise, a man lost in the algorithm of red pill fantasies may mistake withdrawal for wisdom, but end up even more isolated and disempowered. So while Machiavelli might admire the strategic manipulation of image, he would condemn the lack of real action. Incel language often encourages passivity disguised as insight. It doesn't build real strength, it builds a digital mask. To both Jung and Machiavelli, this is a trap. Jung would call it shadow possession, when you're so identified with your wounded part that it controls you. Machiavelli would call it political suicide, because you're surrendering your agency to an illusion of victimhood. Conclusion. Language shapes reality. Here's the deeper truth. The words you use to describe yourself are not neutral. They either empower your growth or lock you into a role you never chose. Whether you're struggling with rejection, identity, or meaning, you don't need a pill or a label. You need to face the truth of who you are, your pain, your strength, your shadow, and integrate it. Because language becomes identity, and identity becomes destiny. So next time you hear sigma, alpha, black pill, or femoid, ask yourself, am I speaking my truth or hiding from it? If this video opened your mind, share it with someone caught in the algorithm. Let's bring back self-awareness in a world of performance. And if you want more content where psychology meets philosophy, subscribe to Neurosophics, where we decode your mind to help you reclaim it.